when I see this stuff, it just disgusts me because as a child, I was raised in church. I was raised by parents who were trying to protect me from the wickedness of this world, the perversion of this world. And it was media that seduced me. You know, my parents knew a little bit about some things and they were like, look, we're not going to watch The Simpsons. We're not going to watch Beavis and Butthead. We're not going to play violent video games. We're not going to do all these things because it will influence you. They call celebrities influencers for a reason, because when a product gets put on that person, now you want that product because you want to be like that person. It's called programming for a reason. Hollywood is called Hollywood for a reason. It's the Hollywood is the witch's wand that's broadcasting its spell over humanity, lulling them to sleep, brainwashing them, programming them. This is how Satan is going to deceive the entire world in the last days, through propaganda, just like many wicked leaders all through history used propaganda of many forms of media, whether it be posters, flyers, brochures, film. Entertainment is not just mindless entertainment. There is always an agenda. Man, I wish I had all the clips to show you of directors and writers who are saying, I had a message in there. It was an underlying message, a subliminal message that I wanted people to catch subconsciously. Madonna said that she wanted to start making out with women on stage and have gay people on stage because in the beginning it would be shocking and disgusting, but eventually it would become normal, and then eventually it would become something that you would even crave. Over time, showing it over and over and over would make it so normal that you would begin to have those desires. And she's just one of many. I mean, people understand the influence and the power of media. I am so vigilant when it comes to what we put in front of our eyes, what we put in our ears. In this home, we do not watch a lot of garbage. First off, I want to just tell you a little bit about the Minions, because I haven't even watched any of these. I haven't watched a single full movie. There's like 7 of them now. But right when I saw these things, God woke me up in 2012 about Illuminati symbolism, about triangles and eyes and all this stuff. And right away, when you look at the company name, and they're not called Illumination Productions, no, entertainment. Why? Because they're trying to trap you, to entertain your mind, distract you. That's what it's all about. And if you just take off the last 2 letters on the word illumination, you literally get Illuminati Entertainment with this logo mascot down here with one eye. This is so in your face, they're not even hiding it. The minions themselves are the very colors of the Blue Lodge and the Golden Compass. And you see that the word minion means a follower or underlying of a powerful person, especially a servile or unimportant one. Most of the time when I hear the word minions, I think of like Satan's minions. When I tell my testimony, I talk about how when I went sober, Satan would send his minions out in the form of my friends trying to get me drunk and high again. Minions. They're literally called minions. This is not a good word. And they have the G on their chest in the shape of a diamond, just like you see in the Masonic compass. And some of them have 2 eyes, some of them have 1 eye. It's not a coincidence. This is purposeful. Everything in Hollywood is done on purpose. Everything on a set. If you look in movies and you see in the background a framed picture of a bunch of butterflies, you see that all the time. This is monarch mind control, symbolism. You see all kinds of things. I won't get into it, but there's nothing by accident on a movie set. I've been on a movie set before. I was in the Change Up as an extra, and they pay attention to everything that happens on set, and everything's done on purpose. And especially in animation, you don't accidentally have something going on in the background on an animation and say, oops, I didn't know that was going on back there. Yes, because you're in control of every detail of the animation. These shows are just literally perverted. They are dressed up as a maid, French maid. Look at this guy, how he's looking dreamily at the other one. These are all males, and look at how he's looking at him, and he's kind of just drawing in the sand flirtatiously. This is a very homosexual message because they're all males. Here you see they're in some boy band and they're holding heart hands together with their heads together as if they're in love with each other. And this guy's laying on the ground looking at the flower and the butterfly. This is extremely perverted, where he's running naked with a banana in his hand. Of all things, why the banana? Why is he running naked, showing his butt with a banana in his hand? These are past episodes. We're getting to the new one. This one, like I said, things don't just happen in the background by accident. Everything that happens, look, there's somebody walking along in the background. He comes to a closed door and somebody looks out and rips him inside, pulls him inside. What is happening behind closed doors where he's like, get in here? And then up here, you see this one kissing all over the other one. Remember, they're all males. Why is there so much subliminal homosexuality in these cartoons? Because they know that there's going to be an uproar if there's a blatant makeout scene in front of you. But they can put these things in the background. I've seen this over and over with Disney, Nickelodeon. You'll see a crowd of people and suddenly you'll see two grown men making out in the crowd in the background when you're not even paying attention. And these artists have come out and said, oh yeah, I like to put a little queerness here and a little queerness there, and I just, go crazy and put a lot of queer things in there. The people who work on these shows are a part of that lifestyle, and they want their agenda out there. They want to normalize this perversion, and so they are putting it in there, and they're not getting reprimanded for it. Disney doesn't care. Nickelodeon doesn't care. And actually, if they were to say something, they would get in trouble for hate speech, right? Because they are a protected minority. It's a whole flipped model. People think they talk about white privilege and it's a man's world and all this stuff, but really, as a heterosexual white male, I don't really have a lot of privileges. I'm not a protected person like some of these minorities are, where if you say the wrong pronoun, you can actually be punished. Now, look at this. There was a rocket that gets launched off. It looks like, Houston, we have a problem type situation. And yes, I would say we do have a problem. Look right there, dead center in the middle. These two guys are kissing each other, open mouth, very passionately. This is not normal. Why would you do this to children over and over and over? Repetition is brainwashing. Here again, another crowd. And look, see, do you spot it? Do you see it? Right up here. Watch them. And he jumps all over the other one and starts making out with him. See, this is the type of disgusting programming that is coming from these companies. Illumination is Illuminati entertainment, trying to brainwash your children. I don't know what this scene's about. Why is he grabbing his crotch as he's falling? I mean, this is direct crotch shot, bam, and that's in the cartoon. This is PG. Like I said, I've never watched any of these shows, but I was still able to catch some of these things as I'm looking up. I was just typing in random things, and some of these scenes show up, and they're not even being uploaded as what I'm about to show you. Somebody uploaded it because I guess they just thought it was comical. Somebody says his name is.
I am the League's director, Silas Ramsbottom.
Bottom.
Hilarious.
So Silas Ramsbottom. Listen again.
Silas Ramsbottom.
And I was thinking, okay, maybe my mind's just warped and perverted from all the years of being crazy as a teenager, but I looked it up. Is this actually like a homosexual pun? So apparently in the UK, there's a town called Ramsbottom, and it's a big joke because it sounds gay, and they're saying, they named a town after my favorite position, Ramsbottom. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. Ram bottom, and this guy says my name is Ram's Bottom, and to kind of distract you from the very mature topic that is, they have the minions just kind of laugh at the word bottom bottom, and they distract you from the fact that it's saying Ram's Bottom. Here there's some more scenes where you see them literally in bed together. These guys are snuggling up in bed together. And then you have this. And, you know, the village people were very open homosexuals. I even looked it up right here. YMCA by the village people is considered a favorite song of the LGBTQ community because it was written as a loving, campy nod to gay urban culture and the history of YMCA as safe havens and covert meeting spots for gay men in the mid 20th century. I don't know if you knew that, but YMCA, it's the Young Men's Christian Association, I think is what C stands for. But this was a covert place where men would meet up together and probably hit the showers or the sauna or something, and it was a covert place for gay men to meet up. So is that all a coincidence? There's so many makeout scenes between these minions. There's, you know, sleeping together. They have a banana with their bare butt showing, and there's a lot of butt stuff. I didn't even show you guys the half of what I found where they're slapping each other's butts and stuff like that. And the guy's name is Ram's Bottom, and they're singing the YMCA song. There's no way all this is a coincidence. I'm actually shocked at this. You'll see. So people's names are showing up, and he's just like, bleh. And he's like, he doesn't care about any of their names until the last one that shows up. And it's about to show up. Isn't this crazy? Is this not a crazy scene that we're just looking at on screen right now? I mean, if I had this set as my profile picture or something, you think that would be acceptable? That you think I'd get a lot of flack for that, or what would happen? I mean, here's a one-eyed monster with an arrow pointing. This is official. This is straight from Illumination Entertainment's official YouTube channel. And I'm shocked because, like I said, I haven't watched these. Now they have 7 movies before I'm even like catching on at how messed up this is. So here is the new movie. You're going to be shocked. There's candles all around. They're wearing robes. They're in like a cave or some dark place. You know, he's wearing a brown robe, has a candle lit. If you saw the whole room, there's candles everywhere. He opens up a spell book, and inside the spell book you see all kinds of demons. You see runes and cryptic writing and occult symbols. And it's a spell book to literally summon a demon. I'm not making this up. I'm going to show you that this is exactly what it is. They're telling you in the trailer. So, you know, people ask all the time, like, do you just watch all these movies? No. You should be able to tell by the trailer alone whether you should be watching this. Look at that. There is a hexagram right there. I mean, it's right next to where his finger is. The hexagram is the oldest occult symbol. It was used by Aleister Crowley. It was used by many occultists. You see up here on the left page, you see another sigil. You see all this cryptic writing of a spell, how to summon Cthulhu, which is known as the most evil entity in existence. And we're going to look into some of that. But these symbols that you see in this kids movie are sigils. These are literal occult symbols used in witchcraft, used in casting spells, summoning demons, all of it. And now they're just putting it right in the movies. I talked about this in the movie Helio with the kid who literally lays out on the ground on a sigil and he's summoning aliens. He's saying, aliens abduct me. They come and abduct him. And he's so happy that he gets abducted. And he's talking to the alien, which we know are demons, and saying how he doesn't fit in on Earth. Well, of course, you're 9 years old, you're 11 years old or something. You don't fit in. And the alien's like, well, I like you. And so the whole message is teaching kids, hey, if you feel like you don't fit in middle school, well, why don't you go out into a field, draw a sigil on the ground, lay on it, and call out to aliens. And they'll come abduct you, and they'll be your best friends. That was the movie. And we have a video on that. Go check it out. I'm glad that movie kind of flopped. Occult sigils are magical symbols used in ceremonial magic, witchcraft, and chaos magic, derived from the Latin word sigillum, meaning seal. Think about prophecy. Think about how we want the seal of God, right? There's the seal of God and the mark of the beast, and these words are interchangeable, seal and mark. When you look at the Greek and the Hebrew, they're the same word. And so sigils are a seal. They act as symbolic representations of an intention, energy, or spiritual entity meant to influence reality or the subconscious mind. Are you catching on to this? Sigils are meant to summon beings, spiritual entities, and meant to influence reality or the subconscious mind. And here's a movie where millions of kids, because I didn't realize how popular these minions are, but millions of kids are going to be sitting in a dark theater watching a flashing light on a screen with sigils popping up, and it's all laced with humor. Like, oh, it's so funny. They tried to summon a demon. I'm about to show you. I'm not exaggerating. This is really what they're doing. They're trying to summon demons, and they're packaging it as a joke. I'll set it up for you. There's a guy who's a director, and he's casting the minions. They're in the 1920s. He's casting the minions to be in a movie. It's in Hollywood. He's a director, and they end up saying that they want to make a movie. So how do they make a movie? Let's think about this. Think about what's coming out with Epstein files and P. Diddy files and all this stuff. What do you got to do to make it big? Sell your soul, right? Or summon a demon in this movie, because they say we want to make a monster movie. So where are we going to find a monster? Well, we got to find a spell book. We got to light candles. We got to make a sigil on the ground. We got to chant the spell, and the demon will literally rise up out of the earth, and that's going to be our monster for the movie. This is really what Minions and Monsters is all about. Check it out.
A monster movie?
Si, con pica kaiju. Arr, arr.
What are you going to use for your monster?
So this is the director who's got a monocle. Like, monocles are associated with villains a lot of times. I think of the penguin, but the monocle is a one-eye symbolism, right? And he's the director of Hollywood. He's the one that can make them big. And he's like, well, where are you going to get your monster? And they're like, and so he's telling them, this is what you got to do. Check it out. So, do you see what's happening right now? They are literally holding hands with an open spell book, candles lit all around on a checkered floor. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up into the Freemasons, checkered floor. All this is symbolic. The G on their chest, the one eye, the candles, the sigils, the checkered floor, everything. If this wasn't a colorful cartoon right now, if you walked into a Masonic temple and saw this happening, I really don't think you would think it was funny. I think you would be very uncomfortable, probably scared, and you'd leave, right? But package it up in funny little characters, and now all of a sudden the occult is cute and humorous and funny. This is exactly how Satan works. This is exactly how Satan traps your children, how he trapped me when Marilyn Manson came on MTV, when The Craft came out and showed 4 high school hotties doing witchcraft and playing light as a feather, stiff as a board, and a Ouija board. And then I was like, that's what witchcraft is like? I want it. I want that power. There's no power in Christianity. I'm being drawn to witchcraft, and of course they're using hot chicks to sell it. What are they doing here? They're selling witchcraft with cartoons for your kids. Colorful, humorous cartoons.
Miso soup con gomae.
And this is Cthulhu. We're going to look at him.
Tenobu Daifuku!
There's the sigil right there on the ground. See, the checkered floor, the sigils on the ground, a portal opens up, and the demon is summoned. I'm not exaggerating. This is really what is happening in this movie. And they're so excited. And there's Cthulhu right there with the tentacle mouth.
I'm free! No.
Did you see that? You can really get a good look at this pattern on the floor. That is the sigil right there. It gets more shocking, actually. I can't believe it does, but it does. Here they are wearing their robes. Robes, spellbook, candles, sigils on the ground, checkered floor, Masonic compass on their chest, one-eye symbolism, and oh, it's cute.
Let me get cuter.
They even got the witch's broom. Look right here. I mean, they're just getting everything. Here's another trailer. This one is full of a lot more symbolism. A lot. First, Illuminati right there. Now, they're actually showing you what it's like to become big in Hollywood. This is how you got to do it. You got to sell your soul, and you'll become rich and famous, and you got to summon demons. Check it out. You see how they're rich right now. They're dressed in these Argyle sweaters and stuff. You might think this is like a stretch. How many fingers does he have on this hand? How many fingers does he have on this hand? 3, 3, 33. If you think that's a stretch, it's going to get more blatant. Now, what also happens in Hollywood is the humiliation ritual, the hazing. Think about all the people who had to walk out on stage naked, or when Taylor Swift was on stage winning an award and Kanye got up there and said, "This award should have went to Beyonce." And right then I said, Taylor Swift's going to get huge. I mean, at the time I was like, she's just this country singer girl. And sure enough, she is the richest female artist of all time right now. She's the richest female singer living on earth. And we saw her humiliation ritual right there on stage. Now, this is about to happen. He just put his hands in the concrete and watch. Forever. Slapped him into the mud, into the cement, and they're all laughing at him. Even the camera people are laughing. Popping the champagne in a children's movie, but hey, you know, here's the champagne at what? At a party, right? This is like the Diddy parties. These are the parties on the island, right? Look, they're rich. They're throwing money. They're literally making it rain, just stacks of money. Suddenly they are rich. And you see the big Diddy party going on. Remember what I said about the fingers? 3, 3, 33, right? What do we see right here? On the back of this train. You cannot make this stuff up. You can't just make things out of nothing. There's so many people that think if you're a conspiracy theorist, oh, you're just reaching, oh, you're just making something out of nothing. It's not a big deal. It's just mindless entertainment. No, they are telling you who they serve. And this is brainwashing. This is Satan's Bible, is Hollywood. God wants to speak to us through his word, but we're so distracted and entertained by Hollywood that we get Satan's message over and over and over. Break the rules, follow your heart. Witchcraft is cool. Talk to the dead and be gay. Literally. Wow. The song that you're hearing is Abracadabra from the 80s. We're going to look into that a little bit. They use that song because of the spells, the magic. Of course, abracadabra goes hand in hand with that. And here's the scene again of them holding the hands with the candles all around. Now look, what is on the top of this building? You can't make this stuff up, guys. Like, it's there. Why? Why is there an eyeball on the top of the building? And the checkered floor.
I'm Gary Orcam Oliver Magma Ichabod the Deceiver. But my friend...
If you just heard his name right there, he's like, oh, it's a long name, but he says like Ichabod Deceiver. He's a demon. Maybe literally Satan himself. He just called himself Ichabod Deceiver. All right, this is where it gets worse. You can already see where this is going. You seeing that, right? Whoa. The all-powerful Irene. The all-powerful Irene. He's summoning Irene with an all-seeing eye, sigil, blasting on the floor between 3 people. This is literally witchcraft. Right in your face. Not sugar-coated. Not hidden. Right in your face. Actually, it is sugar-coated. They're sugar-coating it with colorful cartoons, humor, and parents and children alike will just laugh at this and not see anything. Because Satan is the god of this world that has blinded the masses. And he's brainwashing people right now. We battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, literally programming humanity. Literally, Satan is building his army to fight against Christ. He's building an army of people who hate true Christianity. They're okay with, oh, you're a Buddhist? That's cool. That's cool for you. This and that. But Christianity, no, I can't accept it because it convicts me too much. And your beliefs convict my lifestyle, and therefore I don't like it. And I don't like you because you're a Christian. It gets worse. I forgot. One of the most perverted scenes comes up right here. So here's this clown taking his clothes off, wearing a thong, pulls out a chainsaw, runs out of screen, flies back in screen, and what in the world is this? That's his nose. He no longer has the thong on. His clown nose is now where his genitals should be, and then his thong comes flying in on his face. Like, dude, what is up with it? What is... I just can't believe that 2026, we're looking at a PG movie for children that already has, a positive reputation with millions of families, and all the gay stuff that was going on in the background of those movies now is just blatant perversion. Like, they put it in the trailer. They put the all-seeing eye in the trailer. They put the summoning the demon in the trailer. They put this perversion right in the trailer. They're not even hiding it. It blows me away. I can't believe it. And then at the very end, they cut the king's head off. This is not fan-made. That was real. This is a kid's movie, man. We just saw decapitation, a naked minion with a clown nose on his genitals, an all-seeing eye summoning demons out of a spell book. I'm mind blown, guys. I cannot believe it. So who's Cthulhu? From the cosmic horrors of Cthulhu to the creeping madness of the shadows over Innsmouth, H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft, he was an occultist. Whether he knew it or not, He actually claimed to be an atheist, and he mocked Aleister Crowley. He was around at that time. He mocked Aleister Crowley, calling him a charlatan and a fake and all this stuff. And yet everything he wrote was super satanic. I mean, look at this picture in the background. You see this sigil behind his head, right? And where did he get the idea of the Cthulhu? From nightmares. H.P. Lovecraft, the one who invented the Cthulhu, wrote the Necronomicon. The book is cobbled together from a mishmash of recontextualized Sumerian and Babylonian text, peppered with added references to fictional deities created by Lovecraft. How do we know they're fictional? How do we not know that whatever's conjured up in this sicko's mind is real demons? Fictional deities created by Lovecraft and the Orientalist magical system of Aleister Crowley. So he actually put some of Aleister Crowley's work in the Necronomicon. But that's what the Necronomicon's all about. Summoning demons. This is the type of stuff, if you look up H.P. Lovecraft symbols, you're going to find this symbol. He's all about this. I mean, it's a pentagram. It's multiple pentagrams. It's a sigil. Sigils are a conglomeration of symbols put together. And here it says, the influential horror writer H.P. Lovecraft drew inspirations from the nightmares that haunted him throughout his childhood. So these aren't fictional deities that he's writing about. He's having night terrors, and he's writing books about them, and he's spreading it to the world. This is exactly how Satan works. Satan influences people, and he inspires them to write books. They become successful people, and they're all pushing witchcraft and demonology. There are some connections, actually, between Lovecraft and Aleister Crowley. They were around at the same time. They never met each other, but someone wrote a book that said that when you read their writings, they were writing about the same stuff, the same deities, the same entities, and he believes 100% that they were in communication with the same demons. And I tend to believe it as well. So where does this word abracadabra come from? We heard the song abracadabra. Most likely originated in ancient Mesopotamia from the Aramaic phrase abracadabra, meaning I create as I speak. So basically, when you say abracadabra, you're saying I am God. And what I say comes true. What I speak becomes reality. This is manifestation, it's magic, it's witchcraft, and that's exactly why you hear these magicians say abracadabra. The one who wrote the song, Steve Miller Band, has, you guessed it, an all-seeing eye on the front cover of the single for abracadabra. Of all things it could be, a magic wand or whatever, a rabbit, it is the all-seeing eye, a single eye. You put all the pieces together, you see that the minions glorify the single eye, whether it's on the minion, whether it's on the sigil here. They glorify the Masonic G compass. They glorify the checkered floorboards, opening up witchcraft spell books, chanting incantations, summoning demons, and homosexual perversion. That is the minions in a nutshell. Years ago, I exposed a show on Disney called Owl House about a bisexual, I don't know if she's high schooler or younger, bisexual high school girl who wants to become a witch like her aunt. And the writer of the show said my pitch to Disney was, girl hangs out with witch in hell. And Disney ran with it. And Owl House was about this bisexual girl literally in hell. They fire pits and demons and everything down there with her aunt who's a witch, who's teaching her how to become a witch in hell. And when I exposed that show, this was before I even knew she was going to become bisexual later, I was just exposing the facts that the artist said that it's a girl hanging out with a witch in hell, and all the comments started coming in. This was on Little Light Studios. All these comments that simply said, "Be gay, do witchcraft. Be gay, do witchcraft." I was like, what is up with this? And I started realizing it at that time, years ago, that Satanism, witchcraft, the occult, and homosexuality are hand in hand. Literally, they're hand in hand. And so this whole "be gay, do witchcraft" is a popular queer slogan and rallying cry that playfully links occult aesthetics with LGBTQ plus pride and anti-authoritarianism. Originating as a meme, it has evolved into a widespread cultural trope heavily embraced by the online community, fantasy media, and modern pagan circles. You get stuff like this that comes out of that. Satan respects pronouns. So this is implying that Christianity, the Bible, God is nothing but a hate-filled being that doesn't respect pronouns, that doesn't respect calling a male a female just because he identifies as one. Satan respects pronouns. Well, duh, he created the transgender movement. Of course he respects pronouns. He wants to feed in to your delusion. And you see stuff like this, where you incorporate Satanism with the pride flag. What was the sin that caused Lucifer to fall? Pride. Pride cometh before the fall. It's not some crazy, connection that doesn't exist, that Satanism and the LGBT community go hand in hand. They 100% absolutely do, whether they realize it or not. This flag, this pride flag, is Satan's flag. And now it's being hung from churches, and they keep adding different colors to it to join you and join in. If you're brown or black or Black Lives Matter, come on, we're going to put you on this flag of pride. You're a Satanist? Come on. We're all in this together. We're one big happy family under the pride flag. And everyone's welcome except Christians. And so here's just a lot of these shirts and things that say Satan respects pronouns, and it's just mind-blowing that this is the world we're living in. I still can't believe it, because I used to desire a world like this. There was a time when I was obsessed with Marilyn Manson and Nine Inch Nails and Cradle of Filth, and I dressed in all black and wore pentagrams and dabbled in the occult. And I thought that the world was being held back by Christianity, by the Bible, and censorship. And, I was like, I wish the world would just be free. Why can't we just be free and do whatever and say whatever? And God really radically changed my life, changed my mind, made me a new creature in Christ, renewed my mind. And now this sickens me. Sin disgusts me, repulses me, and I can only imagine how God feels as he watches the children he loves being deceived by this angel, this rebellious angel, who's convincing humanity that the God of love, who wants us to keep the commandments, the laws of liberty, to love God, love your Creator, and love your neighbor. Somehow Satan has convinced humanity that loving your Creator and loving humanity is bondage, is a bad thing, is hate, literally is hate. The one who created us knows how everything works. He created it. It's like arguing with a car creator, manufacturer, and saying, no, I think I could put water in the gas tank. And the car manufacturer saying, no, actually I made the car. I know how it works. You put gas in the gas tank and it starts the engine. You put water in there, it's going to mess everything up. God created male and female to reproduce, to have families, And he said, don't do it this way because it's going to cause problems. The biggest community of STDs is in that community. The biggest community of death, depression, suicide is in that community. Why? Because you're going against God's perfect design. And that's exactly what happens. You can choose. God gives you the freedom. He never forces himself on anyone. He gives you the freedom. But when you choose your freedom to go against his design, it's always going to be a dead-end road. Every time. I've been down every road. I've been down every single thing that this world has to offer. And it's all vanity, vanity. It's all vanity, like Solomon said. One day you will find out. And I pray to God it's not too late. That you don't die in witchcraft and in homosexuality. That you don't get AIDS or some other life-threatening disease. That you don't cut your genitals off that cannot be undone. God is love. He loves you like a child, like his child. He loves you like his wife. This is the closest we can come to understanding God's love. The love of us with our children and our spouse. It's like literally the only way that we can even comprehend the love of God. And yet he loves us so much that he'll never, ever force himself upon you. He's knocking on the door of your heart, asking if you'll open the door. All you got to do is let him in. But so many of us just want to do it our own way. We want to destroy ourselves. We want to do drugs. We want to have all kinds of fornication. We want to do everything our own way in these self-destructive lifestyles. And it's ultimately going to lead to destruction. Not because God's going to destroy you, but because you're destroying yourself. And when you choose to reject the only gift, the only way to have everlasting life, you're choosing death. We can't do anything to earn it. We can't do anything to earn salvation. Jesus died for our sins while we were yet still sinners. And he says, come unto me, all you who are heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. My yoke is easy. Just accept my gift, and I'll change your life. I'll come in and clean up. I'll make it so that you love your neighbor. Look, I was a completely different person before God came into my life. And some of you might think that's a bad thing. I've actually had people comment and say, I wish you'd go back to your old ways. I'll never go back to that person. That person's dead. That's what I got baptized. The old man is dead, and I've risen up a new creature in Christ with a renewed mind. I pray that someone out there takes this serious. I was going to show just that, I'm not just reaching. Look, witches frequently participate in LGBTQ pride parades to celebrate their identities, build community, and reclaim the witch archetype. Witchcraft, LGBTQ pride parades, and then it goes the other way. LGBTQ people find highly accepting, vibrant spaces at most modern pagan festivals. To see that Satan is hard at work to deceive the world, and maybe you've never seen it until this moment. Maybe the blinders have been on you and you've just been entertained and going about life as usual, like the days of Noah, eating and drinking and giving in marriage and just having a good old time. And now you're starting to see that things don't seem right, that the world does seem evil, that the people that we used to look up to and trust are really not good people, and files are coming out that are proving that, and things are about to change very rapidly. We're being told that aliens are true or real, and that they're coming soon. We have World War III happening right now. They're telling us climate change and pandemics and ticks like crazy. This world is in utter chaos. And soon there will be a fake savior. This is a deep topic, but Satan is going to appear as a cosmic savior that's going to bring about peace and safety and order. and love and tolerance and acceptance, but it's not the truth. The truth is Christ, who's going to come after that. Don't fall for the deception. No matter how good it feels, no matter how loving it feels, the Bible prophesied all of what's happening right now 2,000 plus years ago, and it's happening perfectly to a T right now. We just printed 20,000 of these brochures. They're completely free. They've been paid for by donors, and they talk about this very thing, this UFO disclosure, how Bible prophecy predicted that unclean spirits like frogs are going to go out to the kings of the earth and the whole world and gather them together for a battle against Christ. Very soon, we're about to see some crazy things happen. And I just pray that I'm ready. I pray that you guys are ready. If this video is eye-opening to you, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps this video get out into the algorithm so that more people can see this. We are not monetized. We've been rejected monetization by YouTube twice for harmful content. They won't monetize us, so we don't get super chats. We can't be hyped. We don't make any money off any of the videos we do. We're 100% donor supported. And if you would like to support this ministry, you can do so by going to CandidTruthOrg. We got Cashapp, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. We even have Patreon. You can join Patreon for free even. We have a Discord channel you can get on for free and communicate with us. We also have a lot of cool merch on our website. If you would like to buy a t-shirt or a mug or shower curtain or stickers, we get about $5 profit on the things that sell on there. And we cannot do this without you. The only way we can keep doing this is with your support. And those of you who have been faithfully supporting us, we see you, we love you, we thank you. We cannot do this without you. And we will see you next time on Candid Truth. But first, I want to tell you that there is a meetup coming. Founded Earth Brothers and us have joined forces for the Founded Truth Meetup 2026. That is going to be Sunday, June 21st, and that's going to be at McDonald Farm, which is in Sale Creek, Tennessee. So this flyer will be posted all over both of our social media pages. If you want to just come hang out, it's going to be on a Sunday. We're doing like a potluck thing. Bring a little dish. If we don't get enough food, we'll go get a little Caesar's pizza or something like that. But it's just a time that we can come together with like-minded believers and fellowship. This is a lonely road that we are on, and we just want to get together and hang out, meet you guys, meet some of our watchers, and just come together and hang out. And it's going to be a blast. So I hope to see you guys there, and we'll see you next time on Candid Truth.